Welcome. Thank you very much for being here for our fourth and final workshop with our GCC in Chief. This one is kind of exciting for me because I love the idea of the topic when we talk about marketing, building a brand, and selling, and doing it a little bit on a budget, not necessarily being able to just buy everything. We're not Apple. We've got two amazing speakers that I'm going to introduce a little bit, then they're going to talk about themselves. I have some questions. I need to turn off the volume here so that doesn't beep. Okay. I have some questions. I know y'all are going to have some questions and we're going to go through it. But I want to ask first real quick, how many of you have or at one time bought a Stanley cup? No owners of those Stanley mugs? A couple of you. Before the last 5 years, Stanley never imagined selling a mug to a college-age student. They never imagined making mugs in hot pink, pastel green, Christmas colors, putting animals on them. Why do you think all of a sudden Stanley said, let's change our whole path from construction workers to influencers, college students, high school students? Anyone have any idea why Stanley got into the business of colorful mugs? Yell it out real loud. To stay relevant. I wish that was the truth. They followed along because someone came to them and said, we really like your mugs. And we're painting them. We're putting stickers on them. Would you do it for us? And Stanley looked and said, I guess we can. And they started marketing it. And Stanley went from a so-so company to this huge behemoth because they marketed to a crowd they never imagined would like their cups. So we're going to talk to Summer from Tanger Outlets. We're going to talk to Breanne from National American Mist about how you take what you're doing and market it to the people you intend to, and maybe eventually the people you don't even intend to, but the ones that will buy your product. So I am going to start with Summer, who is the marketing director at Tanger over by Westgate, and allow her to talk a little bit about herself, and then we will switch to Breanne and go from there.
Hello. Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Summer Boland, and I am the marketing director for Tanger Outlets. Thanks so much for having me out here today. About myself, I grew up in South Dakota. Has anybody been to South Dakota? Oh my gosh, way more people than I thought. That's terribly exciting. I moved to Arizona, graduated from ASU. While I was in school, I worked in hospitality, and I really enjoyed it. After I graduated, I'm like, how can I still do this? How can I make money? I like talking to people. And so, I bounced around to a few different jobs, and I landed on Levy Restaurants. And they are the food and beverage provider for sports and entertainment venues. At the time, they had 5 properties here in Arizona, and it was a wonderful experience. I met all sorts of people on the sports side, on the business side, marketing partnerships, sponsorships. It really opened a lot of doors for me. I was with them for about 7 years, and then, I'm like, I need to take a pause, as we do, and I got into a few other fields, and COVID hit, and I was working for a lobbyist firm, setting up online events and workshops so we could all stay safe. And the Super Bowl host committee reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in joining their team. About 70% of the people on the Super Bowl host committee I had worked with in one capacity or another when I was with Levy. And, it just really spoke volumes that networking is so important. You're always representing yourself. You're always, showing people who you are, what your brand is. And so I helped facilitate Super Bowl 57 in 2023. And then after that, there was a contract position. They asked me to sign another contract with the Arizona Major Events Host Committee, and we helped facilitate the NCAA Men's Final Four in 2024. Again, incredible experience. It was just, both positions were pedal to the metal, full blown, every day, no breaks. You were available 24/7, but I wouldn't have changed a thing. It was so much fun. And then I took the summer off to see my family and friends and husband and, started looking to see what was out there, what made sense with the experience that I had. And I landed on the marketing director position with Tanger. And I've been with them for about a year. And I really enjoy it. I still get to do my events. I still get to do marketing partnerships, sponsorships, advertisements. So it's a nice catch-all position that has helped me springboard off of my experiences.
Fantastic. Wow. So when's the next Super Bowl in Arizona?
Great question. I don't think they have signed a contract yet, but I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 to 7 years.
We can do an event here at GCC if you want. So.
Oh my gosh, I'll let them know.
All right, and Breanne Ewing is the executive director for the National American Miss. I believe, 18 states, if I remember correctly?
I have 21.
21 states, so she basically controls half the country. So tell us a little bit more about what you do, please.
Well, National American Miss is, we're nationwide. I sit on the executive board, and my family helped co-found the pageant. But my team, on a day-to-day basis, what we predominantly do is we oversee 21 states. So think of it as like a franchise. I'm on part of the board of the company. My family helped create and build the company, and then I also oversee the franchise of 21 states. Is kind of the best way to explain it. My background is I got started in pageants myself whenever I was 8 years old. I suffered from a severe speech impediment. I got bullied heavily in school, and I hated going to speech therapy. If anybody has ever taken speech therapy, it's like, it sucks. You have to leave class, you're already getting picked on, they know that you're having to go to speech therapy, you come back, you've missed out. Anyways, it was terrible. And so my mom got a letter in the mail one day inviting me to do a pageant. And my mom thought that this might be a really unique opportunity to gain confidence, but also an element of the competition was interview and public speaking. And so this would kind of push me beyond, speech therapy. It worked. I obviously overcame my speech impediment, gained a bunch of confidence, but I ended up winning the pageant that year, and I became Miss Nebraska Princess. The opportunities alone for me were mind-blowing. I was able to basically, my parents were real estate. They owned a huge real estate company in Omaha. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. Anybody from Omaha or from the Midwest? Nope, we're the only ones. Got it. Ohio. And so my parents, they owned over 500 rental properties that specialized in Section 8 real estate. So they knew and had a very strong knowledge and background in business, finance, and strategic marketing. For you to grow to be that size in Omaha, you have to know how to market. And so for me personally, my parents took that as an opportunity. When I was Miss Nebraska, my very first appearance was a parade, a 4th of July parade. And my parents were like, we're going to use this to teach our daughter marketing. We've already learned public speaking. She's already overcoming her obstacles. She's gaining confidence. We're going to move on and help her learn how to network. So my mom had business cards printed for me. And at this parade, I'm 8 years old, and I went down to every float in the parade and introduced myself and gave my business card out. And one of the people that I ended up giving my business card to was the mayor of Omaha. And his wife, ironically, had competed in pageants. And so the next day, they had my business card. The mayor and his wife called my house and personally invited me to join the mayor to be in charge, to with him cut the ribbon for the big grand opening of the new JC Penney's that was opening in the mall. And in the 90s, this is a really big deal, guys. This was like everything. Everybody came out for it. So this was just huge. And of course, there was all the news stations. A producer came over to my mom and said, I'm with KETV. We're looking to do a kids segment. Would your daughter be interested? And my mom was like, maybe. So we went in and we auditioned. And the next day he called and he said, hey, we're not going to cast her for this. I had no acting experience. I just did a pageant. We're not going to cast her for this, but there is, I don't know if you're familiar with Fishbowl Pet Centers, but they're looking for a new spokesperson. Before Petco and PetSmart ever existed, it was regional pet centers that existed, and Fishbowl was the regional pet center in the Midwest. So I got the job, and I kind of became like Flo for Progressive, but for the Fishbowl Pet Centers. And I made so much money doing this. I ended up getting an agent. I ended up modeling. You guys know about Justice, Girls Justice clothes. You probably wore it when you were younger. Beforehand, it was called Limited 2. And when you walked into a Limited 2 store, I was the model that was behind the cash register. So I was making all of this money that I paid my entire way through college using the money that I had earned from pageants, which was from modeling and from acting. While that was happening in my own life personally, my parents took what they knew and they were seeing what I was accomplishing and they thought, we want to give this opportunity to other girls. And they leveraged their networking, their marketing experience, their real estate experience, and created National American Miss. We've been around for 23 years. My parents have since retired. I've taken over for them. And we're now the largest pageant system in the world. Over 15,000 participants participate annually. Miss Universe or Miss America might be what you're familiar with. They don't come anywhere close. They have maybe a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 that compete annually. We have 15,000. And we are also the largest scholarship facilitator. We award over $230 million in scholarships annually. And so that's what started as a little girl with a speech impediment and parents who had a real estate company has now become one of the leading female scholarship providers in the country. So that's kind of my background and my story.
Wow. We have something else we get to bond over. I wasn't able to say my name for a number of years because of a speech impediment. My parents wanted to change my name because they felt bad, but when you can't say
what did they
R,
want to change it to?
They did anything that didn't have an R in it because it was Bwent. And it was a miserable upbringing when a teacher asked you how you said your name. But this isn't therapy for me today, so we'll get into the idea of marketing. And I'm going to ask both of you this, and kind of we'll bounce ideas off each other and the students. What's an easy, low-budget marketing win you've seen small businesses use? What's some way businesses have succeeded without spending a lot of money in marketing?
I mean, I think social media, using Canva, easy, right? QR codes, driving email signups, Google reviews, that type of thing. I think a QR code is so easy to track. You can see who is interested in you. You can really get a GeoNet from that. So, I mean, just right off the bat, those would be easy go-tos to just promote your business.
Absolutely. 100% everything she said. I think I'm from a world of pageants, and so we don't sell a product. We sell hopes and dreams, right? Like that's what I'm selling ultimately. And that's a really hard sell. And so if you're somebody who's thinking about getting into something more niche and more unique, my advice is, yes, implement all of that, but the cheapest way to do this is to build a community. You want to turn your customers into cheerleaders, kind of that concept of word of mouth. But the best advice I can give is start now and being a cheerleader for your community. You need to champion and cheerlead the people around you, your network, your audience, your community. That builds credibility. And then eventually those people will turn into your cheerleaders. And that's free. And there's free ways to do that. And I mean, even here today, this is a networking event. This is an opportunity. You're putting yourself in front of people. So utilize and leverage every single opportunity, even now, to start building that community. This is free. I mean, you're paying to go to school, but ultimately, you being here today is free and giving you that opportunity and that access. So utilize that, and then you start utilizing all what she talked about.
Okay, and both of you in your background stories spoke about how you understood your product and you're selling yourself. So in that idea of community, where should students go to look to find people that can benefit them, so that people that can be that branch one day for them?
I'll give a couple of examples. One, obviously I'm from the world of kind of more of a beauty industry. Do any of you girls, do you know what Huda Beauty is? Guys, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but raise your hand if you know what Huda Beauty is. Okay, great. So if you don't know the name, you probably are familiar with the product. Every single hair and makeup artist, influencer, Kim Kardashian uses it. And what they're most known for is it's called banana powder, and it's like the setting powder that everybody uses for their makeup. And Huda Beauty is like the go-to for it. But that's not how she started. Her name is Huda, and she started actually just as a hair and makeup stylist, and she knew she didn't want to paint faces forever. And so what she did is she started a blog. That's so easy, a blog. And she built, like I talked about, she built community, she built credibility, and as she was doing that, all of her audience, her also not knowing really what she wanted to transition herself into professionally, she used and relied on her audience to kind of help guide her. And so they started complimenting her eyelashes, and they wanted to know where she got her eyelashes from, thinking they were fake eyelashes. They were her actual eyelashes. She wasn't using fake eyelashes. And so while these conversations were being had on her blog, she was secretly building her own eyelashes and creating them. And then she sold them to her audience. Her first customers were her blog followers. She didn't know it, but one of her blog followers happened to be Kim Kardashian. And Kim Kardashian was one of the very first people that bought her eyelashes. She had no idea. She started wearing them on the red carpets, and of course it's Kim Kardashian, that spiraled. She's now in Sephora. She now has other products. Kim Kardashian talks about it all the time. And so to his point, leveraging community and where and how to leverage it and changing what you think you're going to do into what you're going to do, that is just a great example on how to do that.
Yeah, I think, we're all really just trying to reach our own personal goals. And you kind of have to think outside the box, and you have to sometimes get outside of your lane, and it's uncomfortable, and you have to be vulnerable, and you have to experience things that you never ever thought you would. But that is when you will grow the most. Being creative, whether that be going to events that you typically wouldn't go to, or posting something on social that is really meaningful, or, a blog, or, podcasts. Everybody has a podcast, right? But getting involved with a podcast, doing something that sparks your interest, that, excites you, and that you want to be involved with, it'll be the best version of yourself.
Kind of going off of that, we talked about community, and a lot of that is networking. I'll give you some very quick, helpful do's and don'ts of networking. I'm sure you'll probably agree with me on some of these. A don't, per se, of networking to help you in building your community is if you see it's a networking event, like a specific network, it's not through something, but it is just like a networking event. I would probably recommend maybe not going to it I'm not saying don't, but I'm just going to prepare you on more of what to expect. You're going to leave there with a lot of business cards from realtors and insurance agents. So don't not do it, just don't put all of your eggs in that basket, is what I'm saying. Instead, utilize networking events through things like you talked about, things that you have an interest in or a passion or clubs or your school, things like this today. Talk to each other, come and talk to us, and anytime you can have an opportunity to get in front of people. Another great outlet is there are so many things here in your area. The SBA has them. I recently won an award. The Phoenix Business Journal does a 40 under 40 every year. I was an honoree, and there were so many networking events that they put on for us as honorees. I met so many people outside of my niche and my industry. I'm now sitting on boards for theaters. I'm now being asked to do stuff like this. But they also have other awards. They give things for 20 under 20, women in business. There's all kinds of stuff like that. And you can self-nominate, or you can have somebody nominate you. But if you don't feel like you have the credibility, go nominate your boss. Because these networking events, they'll probably take you to them. I took the person who recommended and nominated me to all these 40 under 40 events. I felt like that was the least I could do. And so she met a lot of people. That is a great way to network and also to build credibility. So utilize those opportunities that, when you see something like a 40 under 40, you don't necessarily think networking or something like this today, but it is.
Need a 50 over 50. But I love where this is going with the networking, community, building things. The Super Bowl and the Final Four, thousands, tens of thousands of volunteers. The pageant system relies on so many volunteers to make it happen. Explain, please, how volunteering ties into marketing, building your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime that you're getting involved in your community, you're volunteering, this is something that you are working with people that have like-minded individuals, right? Like you're all working towards a common goal. So it's easy to build a relationship with these people, whether that be the person that planned the event or the other volunteers, but you can reach out to them and say, what sort of business are you in? Oh, I'm looking at getting into this. Do you know anybody in marketing? I'm looking to launch my brand. It's an organic conversation that doesn't feel forced, that doesn't have networking labeled on it, but you are absolutely doing that at any time you're involved in these type of events. And just to springboard off of that, because you don't have your portfolio built out that's, a decade old, document this. Not only what you did, but if you were supervising or what your project was, take photos. Even send the person that hosted the event a recap of the event, a thank you. It goes a long ways. They will reach out to you first next time when another opportunity comes along, and you can just do nothing but build off of that.
To go off of that, I'll go in a kind of a different direction, but to build off of it, NAM, a lot of pageants are volunteer-based. National American Miss is not. Everybody who is in charge of our team is trained, underground background checks, and they're a paid staff member. I will say that I think that from a business standpoint, that is where one of the reasons why we are an industry leader and why we have such a big following is because we are not reliant on volunteers. We are a business, and we treat our employees like employees and not like volunteers. So there's more of an organization to it. So I think that is important to note when you are thinking about a business or an event of, it's great to save money, and volunteers are fantastic and can be helpful, but there is a level that you will reach when you do have more of an employee-based system versus a volunteer system. But in pageants, it is the girls, it's when you win, it's the work that you do, that's all volunteerism, right? Like if you win Miss Arizona, you have to do 40 hours of volunteer work. And then of course, to your point, that is networking. and like I keep saying, every opportunity is a networking opportunity, even like you said, when it doesn't say networking. And she brought up a great point, and I just this week saw this happen outside of pageants. Believe it or not, I have a life outside of it. My cousin, he is talking about how, using every connection that you make. My cousin is in, I'm going to get this wrong, but he is something in military cybersecurity. So a world I know nothing about. But whatever it was, he just received an award, and he's young, he's like 28. So he's early in his career. He received an award or some type of accolade where he is ranked first in military cybersecurity. And it's like a huge deal, super impressive. And so my cousin took this upon himself, and this is such genius self-branding, self-marketing, and networking to launch himself forward, is he sat down and he went through his contacts, and he kind of thought through it, and anybody that had ever been somebody in his life that he had learned from or had helped him. A class student that made that class much more enjoyable. Somebody that he heard talk one time. A teacher, a professor, a boss, a distant family member that he hasn't connected with. Somebody that was impactful in his life in some capacity. He had a list of 50 of them, and he sent a personal email to each and every single one of them, telling them about what he had just received, thanking them personally, highlighting a special memory or a funny joke that they shared, adding that into the email, and he sent that out. And everybody started responding. And, oh, I'm so touched, and this is what happened. By the way, so glad to hear about it. I've got a company that I just started, and we're hiring. Or, hey, I know somebody that is looking for so-and-so. What are you thinking about your next career move? For the people who weren't doing that, he was then going over and he was saying, hey, he was then responding back saying, hey, by the way, while I've got your ear, so-and-so company and so-and-so company, they're looking to hire. They've, kind of reached out to me. What do you know about them? So now he's getting industry inside of, don't go with that company, do go with this company, or hey, let me make a call. I actually know the president over there. He is overwhelmed right now. Like, he's actually stressed at the level of opportunities that are being just gifted to him, all because he just sent an email out to people that he had networked with throughout his life and his career. So that is a really great way. A lot of you are going to be graduating soon. Right now, start compiling that list of people. If you don't have their phone number, if you don't have their email address, ask around, use LinkedIn, find them on social media, and get that list going so that when you graduate, you can email them and you can say, hey, I just emailed, maybe you graduated magna cum laude, and here's how you helped me with this. And you're immediately, I promise you, with that question, you will get out of that probably at least 1 or 2 job offers, easy. So that is a great way to launch yourself forward, using networking and community.
And doing that without asking for the job, you're still going to get it, just
Correct.
Sharing the good news. And the other part you brought out of that I'm going to ask you both about again, is sharing information is a great thing. The interaction after the response, because a lot of us like to share, we'll even post something on social media, look, this is me, I was honored, I got this award. People comment, and we like the comment, and that's it. How important is building that relationship and continuing that interaction?
More important than the original post. There is I encourage all of you, write this down, Insta Club Hub. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay, it's a guy, he's not that much older than most of you. He started this, it's a subscription service, and it is about how to use Meta, specifically Instagram, to build your brand. You guys, it works. I was one of the first people to join it. Within 2 weeks of just applying his education, I gained 4,000 followers. My videos, I'm getting 1.6 million views on my videos. It's so good. But one of the first things that they teach you is the value in creating engagement, because that is how social media reads the algorithm. You start with your followers, and if you have a small following, okay, it's your mom and your grandma and your friends, right? If you just create a static post, they're not gonna really care or engage with it. So you want to create content that makes them want to comment or share. And when they do comment, don't just like. Instead, ask a question back that makes them then come back to your comments, come back to that post, and continues to engage. That is then what gets it. The algorithm says, oh, people are wanting to come back to this post. This must be interesting content. We're going to push this out in the algorithm onto people's For Your page. That's how you get more views. That's how you build more of an audience. And so that's just social media, but that really does translate off of social media and into your day-to-day and reaching more audience and more people.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the follow-up and the follow-through speaks volumes to your character. I think if there's someone that you want to reach out to on LinkedIn or Instagram or something like that, do your research. Find out a little bit about them. Like, we're all really good at stalking people. Come on, like this day and age. So find out something that they're interested in and ask them a question. So they're like, oh yeah, you saw that I was at that event and I got that award, or yeah, I am involved in that club and this is what I can tell you about it. If you can find something that is a common ground, people are way more engaging, way more willing to respond to you, and that's kind of your springboard into opening the door and having a conversation of whether it be if your company's hiring or if you're interested in what brand they have going or how they got started on their social media page or whatever your objective is. It's a great way to kind of slide in and say, hey, we both have this interest. I think it would be great if we could connect without being so forceful and pushing your resume down their throat.
Well, I think everybody, to your point, everybody like in our position, we know what people are trying to do. Like when people reach out and are like, hey, saw you at da-da-da-da. Like there's always an ulterior motive. Like we're not stupid. We know that's what's going on. But at least I respect the hustle. And it's not so desperate. And I understand the hustle that you have an understanding of building community and not being so desperate while doing it. So I'm going to be more interested to engage with you. So, yes.
I'm going to say it works.
It does.
Because it's how we got Summer here. So it's a little low-key stalking. But my next question is, many students go to college right after high school, maybe have a part-time job. How do they package what appears to be an empty resume and fulfill it, create more out of what they have or what may not be there? How do they enhance their image?
I think you build off your experience, whether that be something that a project that you did in class, that's something, a community activity you did, volunteerism, and you basically paint a picture of what you did, what you learned from it, and the outcome. It doesn't need to be a huge, long resume of jobs you've had, but experiences speak volumes to people that are hiring. They want to know that they're hiring somebody that's ambitious, they're a go-getter, they have enthusiasm, they have the drive. Those characters mean so much more than some job that they had while they were getting through school and getting your degree.
I think you'll be surprised as you go out into the workforce. Most people who are in a hiring position or businesses are more attracted to you and your character qualities than your hands-on experience. They can teach you experience, right? But who are you as a person and how are you going to contribute to the growth of the company? Are you going to be a toxic person? Are you going to be a lazy person? Are you going to show up and have hustle? Because if you're somebody who's going to show up and have hustle and you have passion, you may have zero experience. I can teach you experience, but I can't teach hustle and heart. So how to put that on a resume can be really hard, right? But there are ways to do it. At National American Miss, one of the competitions is resume, and so we help girls starting at age 4 all the way up to 39 build resumes. And the first thing we talk about is how to beef up your resume if you don't have a lot of experience. And unfortunately, I'm sure Brett's gonna maybe cringe when I say this, but ChatGPT it. Don't use it to create your resume. I want to be very clear. You can smell that. You know when somebody's done it. But if your only experience is you worked at a nursing home, right? You can put into ChatGPT, for my professional job resume, how can I make sounding like I worked at a nursing home sound, beefier? And it'll pump out something like facilitated care for elderly people ages 50 to, and all of a sudden 3 words became a 2-sentence thing that looks more filling on a resume. You're not lying, you're being honest, you're just being more articulate about what you're doing, and that is what can add depth to your resume if you don't have a lot of experience. Another thing is every one of you has inexperience. Guys, how many of you played football? Anybody play football at some point? Great. You know about strategy, right? You know about team. You know how to work together as a team. You have good interpersonal skills. You probably have good hand-eye coordination. You are strong. You probably know how to lift things. Right off the top of my head, FedEx. You would be a fantastic FedEx driver. That's probably not what you want to do, but great benefits, great pay. And guess what? You go into that first job for FedEx, you use those skills. That's impressive to somebody at FedEx looking for a driver. And right now it's holidays, baby. They're hiring. They're looking for you. And you go and you say, hey, and be honest. Hey, I don't want to be a FedEx driver forever, but I want to use my skills from football, and I want to use those. And eventually, I want to do marketing at FedEx. Can you tell me what does that trajectory look like? How can I get there? And we know that you don't want to stay in a position forever. We expect somebody your age. You want to go and you want to grow and move. And what a great way to get an introduction to that company. So use even sports that you're doing right now, babysitting, anything, not just doesn't have to be work experience, but those personal skills that you learned, you can easily shape them and reframe them on a resume to connect the dots for your future.
And I'm AI friendly. I'm not a huge ChatGPT fan, but we're all good with AI as long as they use it responsibly.
Yes.
With that, you've got to find a way to present confidence and some self-worth. How do you recommend young adults and recent graduates do that without sounding snobbish, without sounding like they're bragging? How do they market themselves to the fullest, but still stay within professionalism?
I mean, I practice with your friends, practice with your family. Pitch yourself. The elevator pitch, I mean, it's a zillion years old, but it's true. Like, what are your qualities? What do you want to promote about yourself? What do you want the world to know? And some of it might be like if you are quiet and shy and the thought of having this conversation and talking about yourself is terrifying, then, put it down on paper. You may be an excellent writer. There are so many websites out there that can help you facilitate what you're trying to express. Tap into those. I think, it is vulnerable and terrifying, and at the same time, it'll be like your most rewarding, and the growing pains will absolutely benefit you in the long run.
I have a philosophy, and that's brag, baby, brag. Brag. And I National American Miss, there's a way to do it, though. You have to be strategic in how you do it, and the best way is to do it with humility. It doesn't come across braggy when you do that. It comes across as provoking and exciting and charismatic and interesting. A great example is, for years, we were really the only pageant system doing what we were doing. We didn't have any competitors. And my parents are very humble people. And so they didn't really ever brag about accomplishments. They never bragged about how we're the biggest pageant system or the awards that we gave. And that was fine. But that being from leadership, that kind of transitioned and, trickled down through, employees and, our contestants, and not to be braggy, to be humble and kind. And that's a really beautiful train of thought, right? But one day we suddenly had a competitor. And this girl was crazy. She was loud, she was obnoxious, she was braggy. And while she's over here bragging, we're all like, ew, ew. Can't people see through that? Like, who wants to go somewhere where it's so braggy? But people were. She was new, she was the new sparkly thing, and she was letting everybody know what made her different, and she was bragging about it. And she is nowhere near, her pageant is nowhere near what NAM is, but she is somebody that she has come to a point where we do have to kind of keep our head over, looking over our shoulder, making sure that, she's not creeping up on us. So she did become a competitor, but she built it off of bragging. And so we had to transition what we were doing. And now we brag a little bit more, but we find a way to do it where it's not so ostentatious and it's more with humility. So brag, but with humility.
I'm coming.
All right, I had a question. You guys, I am a marketing major, and I'm here to learn as much as I possibly can. I wanted to ask, what is a marketing tip that you guys have learned or have been given that is a game changer in today's society?
There's a lot, so I'm trying to figure it out.
I think it's important, and I think people are craving this more, is an experience, right? Creating that customer experience, or when you're going to something, what am I going to get out of it? Like, how's this going to benefit me? So painting a picture for people to, whether it be an event, whether it be a sale, whether it be a promotion, a campaign, really painting a picture of what that experience looks like, because I think everybody coming off of COVID, we really want to make the most out of everything we attend, everything we click on, everything we put energy and effort into. I think it's really important to, just give that experience to customers or your brand or whatever the case may be.
We've talked about it so much, but community. Anytime that as you asked this, and I was really going through and I was thinking through moments where we saw big spikes or big changes, it really all kind of trickled back to networking and building community. But kind of to go off of that, what can be a game changer is strategic brand partnerships. And so one of them for us, like I said, is we've always, at National American Miss, always been the largest, we've always had the largest prize package, but we've never had college scholarships in the way in which we do now, $230 million. But it is to a specific school. I won't say the school because it's not this school, so I don't want to deter you. You can come and ask me later if you want. But it is a partnership that we have developed. We also have a partnership. We had a partnership before COVID with Disney. We used to go to Disney World, and part of whenever you would win Miss whatever state you were from, you go to the national pageant. You'd go to Disney. That was part of your prize package, and Disney would shut down the castle for us, and you would get to take photos and run through the castle, and it was like a big shot. That's such a cool experience. And that was through Disney. Our partnership is now with Universal Studios. But these strategic partnerships, yes, it is cool to say like, oh, we partner with Disney, we partner with Marriott, we partner with this university. But something like that visual of whenever we're able to show all these girls in our program running through a castle at Disney, when we put that on our marketing, people freaked out. We had a partnership with Ford. We gave away a Ford Mustang a couple years ago. Just showing a video of a girl in a crown and sash driving in a Ford Mustang, people freaked out. So it's not necessarily the partnership, but it's the way that you're able to market that partnership. and to make it appeal to whatever audience it is you have. So, but again, going back to like what I said, all of those partnerships really started from networking and community. There were people that we knew. Our college partnership, the girl who is the dean of admissions at that school is an alumni of National American Miss. She's now wanting to give back. So we now have that because of it. People at Disney and Ford, their daughters once participated in National American Miss. So we're leveraging our own networks that we have created, our own community, to reach out and create those strategic brand partnerships that help us, but also help continue to build and give that experience to our contestants.
Okay. Well, hold on. Mine's written down, so I won't forget it.
I'm sorry. So, as everybody here knows, I keep saying this, but I need to ask. This is my opportunity to learn. I'm a musician, and I've been making content for a while. Now I have 11,000 followers on TikTok. They are from my home country, though, which is Albania in Europe. And I wanted to ask, because you mentioned content earlier, and you mentioned branding, what is something that I could do to improve my content into getting me the results that I need, into grabbing mass attention?
Do a pageant.
A pageant. Actually.
I think if we are 4 to 39, but there's pageants out there for all ages, do a pageant. I could sit here and I could give you so many examples of how women are leveraging not just winning the pageant, but the networking from pageants. I mean, it's a networking opportunity to expand whatever it is that they're doing. I've talked about how even through our brand partnerships all came from people that we met that were former participants. It is, if you're somebody and you're sitting here and you're saying, that's not for me, I get it, right? Not everything is for everybody. Pageants can sound really weird, can sound kind of scary. And if that's you and you're sitting here and you're saying that, I get that, but I am going to encourage you to kind of scratch below the surface and maybe explore a little bit deeper of why you're saying that. Because if you are sitting here and you're saying no to something that steps outside your comfort zone, that challenges you, that pushes you, that creates opportunities in networking, if you're saying no to that, how do you expect to have a competitive advantage professionally? Because that's all that pageants are. It's giving you a competitive advantage personally. It is giving you the confidence to dream big, to step outside your comfort zone, to try things that scare you, and that is how you have a competitive advantage professionally. So that's why I encourage every person to do pageants. You might get hooked, but especially for you being from Albania, right now there's the Miss Universe pageant. You probably qualify to do Miss USA or Miss Albania. I would highly encourage you. You will get a lot of recognition, and I would encourage you to go to Miss Albania. Come do National American Miss first.
Okay.
But then let's talk about taking you to Miss Albania, because with smaller countries, when you do Miss Universe, pageants are like football here in America. So like in the Philippines, they have boxing, baseball, and beauty pageants, and you are like the David Beckham in your country and of pageants, the opportunities you get. So do a pageant. Everybody, sorry guys, do a pageant.
I think that's a great idea. I would recommend getting involved in your community in fields that are not music, and so you stand out in that community, whether it be volunteering, whether it be at the NCAA Women's Final Four is going to be here this spring, getting involved with that, something that you're like, that doesn't really make sense for me musically, but you will reach out, you'll meet all these people that maybe they are looking for a musician for their reception. Maybe they are looking for a musician for their vendor, event, for Fan Fest, for, there's so many components that are just tied to that specific event. But again, it's outside of your tunnel vision of just music, music, music. you'll meet all these different people that they're like, this is exactly what we need for this event or this community impact event or for this volunteer event. So just kind of thinking outside the box, as cliche as that sounds. But yeah, really putting yourself out there to like different avenues.
Google Miss World grunge music. There's some girl right now who's going viral. She competed in Miss World, and she like sings like that, like deep, like grunge, I don't even know what it is, music. And so she's like this glamazon who's like up there like singing goth grunge music, and she's like taking off. Everybody's talking about her, and she did it at the pageant. So there you go.
Very cool.
I am going to have to get an extended version of that later. You both are in the business of selling an idea and a feeling. I mean, whether people choose to go to an outlet mall versus Arrowhead or Scottsdale Fashion Square, whether people choose to get involved with pageants. So to someone who's starting to form their business, form their business identity and their idea, how do you recommend they create that? Where do they go to figure out who their target market is? How am I going to reach that target market? And if they end up like the Stanley Cups, how do you pivot?
So I think the first question is going backwards a little bit, and I'm going to give you 3 things for business, because really if you're building a brand or marketing, you're building a business, right, at the end of the day. My husband and I started using this. You're not going to like read about this in like a textbook, but my husband and I kind of came up with this. We started using it in all of our business decisions. We use it in our personal life now, but it has really changed how we think and how we start thinking about where to go to form these relationships, how to network, partnerships, all the things that he talked about. And it's called the rule of the 3 N's. And we ask ourselves constantly, is it neat? Is it necessary? And does it net? Is it a neat idea, right? So just to keep things, simple on our personal life, we literally had this conversation this morning. We have a Peloton machine, like a bike, and like we kind of hate it. And so for the past couple of months, we've been like, so like, are we gonna get rid of the Peloton machine? But it's an emotional thing for us. And we haven't really like made a firm decision on what we want to do until this morning, because for my husband, we bought a house that has a gym, and that for him was a big deal because that showed like a significant, like that was a career milestone. He could afford a house that could buy a gym, and that was the first piece of equipment. So there's an emotional attachment to him. I have friends that don't live here, and so we get on the Peloton and we race together, and so there's that emotional attachment, and there's the emotional attachment of, well, what if we get rid of it and then we need it? And so we've been going through, as humans, to your point, creating that sense of emotion has prevented us from making a decision on what to do with the Peloton. So my husband this morning was like, forget it, let's 3 in it. And so is it neat? Yeah, having a Peloton is neat. Is it necessary? Well, necessary is it a law? Is it a rule? Or is it necessary for you to move your business forward in a healthy way? The answer is actually no, because we don't need a Peloton for physical fitness. There are other ways to do it, right? So we got 1 yes, 1 no. And then the other in is it net? Well, it does not net me time because it's not super speeding me to lose calories, right? I'm not, I can work out for 2 minutes and I burn 5,000 calories. It doesn't do that. And it costs me $75 a month with a dumb subscription. So no, it's costing me money. So we got 1 yes, 2 no. So if anybody wants Peloton, come see me afterwards. I'm selling it. But that helped us to immediately make a decision that wasn't emotional. There is emotionality in the decision, but it's logic. And as a business owner, you want to make that kind of your grounding of where you make your decisions. But as a marketer, put yourself in your audience's position and your audience's shoes and think about it that way. Because if any of you were from Peloton and you just heard what I had to say, that's going to spark some new ideas, marketing, business plans on how to retain existing customers when you start thinking about your audience and how they might be thinking of the 3 N's. And that might help you to grow and strategize new businesses that really are emotion, but aren't guided by emotion, are guided by logic, that are just implementing emotion. So
I think it's very simple. Make a pros and cons list. What brings you joy? What do you want to do? What makes sense for you at this point in your life? You don't need to map out your 5-year, 10-year plan, but what do you want to do for the next year? You can do anything for a year, but what is your objective? What is your goal? What do you want to reach? I am big on a finish line. I love checking boxes. I am your Virgo type A 100%. So give me a goal. I'm a goal digger, and but just really find out, zero in on what makes you happy, and let that be your focus. There's so many opportunities at your age, and you might just not even know which way to turn. But just start simple. Make a list. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to meet? Just start there.
Going off of that, I think when you're young, I don't know about you, but when I was their age, I was overwhelmed with what do I do, right? You want to do everything, right? So the 3 N's, this is something new that my husband and I kind of implemented, but I wish I did it when I was your age, because I think finding joy, there's so many things that bring you joy, and that's such the right place to start. That's that emotional element, right? But when you take those 3 N's and you can apply it, it helps you to narrow it down a little bit more and to get to a direction a little bit quicker. So yes, to both of that, yeah.
So I have a question. So I have a restaurant, right? And business is not going as steady as I would want it. We have the same customers coming in, but we have the idea of maybe putting in some new dishes in, and that did bring in customers for a bit, but then it eventually just fizzled out, and we decided to put more ads on Instagram or Facebook, but it's not really seeming to work. I don't understand what I could do that could bring in more customers.
What kind of restaurant do you have?
Just tacos, soups, sushi.
Where is it at? What's
seafood.
It called?
Restaurante Mi Casa. It's restaurant my house.
Who's been there? Anybody been there? Okay. Right now, this is a networking opportunity for you.
All right, guys. If you guys like soups, sushi, or mariscos, seafood.
If it were me, I would offer all of these people to come in on Monday, bring a friend, and they get some type of buy one, get one. You got to get to give. So everybody in here, take a photo of yourself here in the room, and then so there's proof you were here, and tomorrow go to her restaurant, bring a friend, and if you have the photo and the friend, you get a free dish. You just expanded your existing audience right here in this networking opportunity. In fact, here, I'm going to do it myself.
All right.
If you are a girl, sorry guys, take your photo out and take a selfie with yourself to stage, DM me on Instagram, and I will give you a free full scholarship to come and do this year's Miss Arizona pageant. Okay? That's how you got to get to give, and we've talked about using your community, using your leverage. I would be using this school like it was, that's what I would do.
Where is your restaurant located?
My restaurant is located, I honestly don't even know. It's so bad that I don't know, but no, you guys know Alhambra School, Alhambra High School? It's right there. It's
Yeah, is it 36 in Camelback? I think I found it on.
yes.
See, you told him free food, and he already has his phone up. Y'all are broke college students. You're gonna build in a clientele, and then get their information when they get in there. Get some lead generation going when they make a purchase. Get their phone numbers, get their emails, so you can send them whenever you have those new dishes. So you continue to build off of that Don't just send them out the door with their dish. Get their information and build that email list, build that phone list, and you're gonna keep these people coming back. That friend they brought, they're not gonna bring their friend next week to try your awesome soup.
So I would research what's going on in your neighborhood, what's going on around your restaurant, what community events that are happening that are free. That is your target market. They are built in, they're right there. everybody wants to go out to lunch these days. So research what's going on in your neighborhood. Black Friday, right around the corner. Everybody's got to buy gifts. Promote a gift card, buy one, get one for $10, or, something that is speaking to people. I need to buy gifts, and this is make it easy as possible. You can email it to them. They can come by. If they come in, they get a free appetizer or something that will draw them where you're not giving away the farm, but it will get them into your restaurant. And with the gift card component, that means they're going to come back and spend money with you. But just those two little nuggets, find out what's going on in your neighborhood and capitalize on existing events that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, they will come to you because they need to buy gifts for their friends and family.
So, like, imagine you're at a community event. Do you just, like, pass out flyers, or do you talk to people?
I like the QR code personally, because then you can capture their information, and that will shoot back like a 20% off their entire meal or one meal or something like that. And so it's a two-hit punch where you get their information and they're also going to come see you.
And free samples. People I don't want to go to a restaurant if it's not good.
Yeah.
So, if I can taste it and be like, oh, this is really good, and I just got this QR code, let's swing by there on my way home, versus I don't know if it's good, I'm going to go to a place I know is good.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much. That was really helpful.
To do that. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. So with somebody who is branding in your same area, and we're talking a lot of multiple businesses, how do you stick out from them, especially if you're new coming into the area? How would you say somebody would do that? For like myself, I'm a massage therapist. I've been doing it for almost 20 years. Well-versed. I have the Google reviews on one of my previous businesses. I have them now, but it's still very difficult for me to really connect and touch with others. I do have that word of mouth, but sometimes that word of mouth isn't enough. And so, like I said, in the area, I just opened my business in downtown Glendale, but there are multiple businesses in the same area that offer the same. But how do I stick out more so than these guys to just kind of start getting people in the door?
Really quick off the top of my head is just like to her, offer, free 10-minute complimentary back massage. These are college kids. Like, are you kidding me? They love it. And you could work out some type of benefit in with them. But also, when you talk about, a lot of people go to digital marketing, a lot of people you have a Google account, Google business account, and you're on there. But you have to set it in a way that people are going to search you. You have to do the work for them. So when I first moved here, I had blonde hair, and I was looking for a hairstylist, and I just typed in Scottsdale blonde hair, and the first person that came out, and this is through Instagram, just on my Instagram, was a girl who her handle is the Scottsdale blonde. And that's what she does, is she specializes in blonde hair and people in Scottsdale. And so because she didn't put Carmen's hair of beauty, it was very direct. Her name of her business and how she was promoting herself is the clientele that she knew what they would be searching. So when you're on Instagram, when you're on social media, whenever you're doing maybe updating the name of your business, or adding another, maybe a DBA, to something that is going to be searchable, so people aren't going, when they type in Glendale massage therapist, right? What is the first thing that's going to pop up? Something that says those exact words, Glendale massage therapy, not whatever your company is. Right. So I would be on social media and rechanging that business side of it to gain an immediate more people into your door.
I will say the same thing that I told the musician over here, like, tap into the Glendale Chamber, tap into Visit Glendale. You'll meet business owners. Right now, health and wellness, it means so much to businesses. Offer to come to their place of business and give everybody 10-minute massages during their lunch break. That is easy. It'll cost you a couple hours of your time, but you will be reaching out to these people that you normally wouldn't have had that reach to.
The Chamber of Commerce is great for all of you. Join the Chamber of Commerce. It's an excellent tool. I think the SBA, a lady I met over here, she was talking about there's something kind of similar that you could join. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Go talk to her. I'm not quite sure. I might be giving you misinformation. But to connect with other businesses, and that is such a great thing. You got to expect to get to give. You're gonna, when you're first starting out, you're gonna have to give your time, give your service, give your products away. That's the only people are going to know that your product is good. So,
Thank you so much.
You're going to be loud.
You just said you gotta give to get, right?
give to get, yeah.
Yes. How do I do that? Okay, thank you. How would I do that as a musician? For example, I'm not exactly providing a product yet, like merch, or providing a specific service. But the value I'm providing is completely artistic. How would I do that?
You don't charge, you do everything for free.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not any band, wedding, special event, anything that you can find that is special event oriented.
Yeah.
You're doing it for free for the first couple of years.
Coffee shops, lounges, I mean, anything that's like a small restaurant, they're more than happy to have a little background music, for sure.
And especially if you have some local following where you're now going to bring, like if you go to the restaurant over there at 36 and Camelback and say, I'm going to bring 30, 40 of my followers to have dinner, you're going to sing for free, you're going to entertain, they're going to get new people eating their food because they're following you. It's a win-win all across.
I mean, we're talking about networking, and you're nailing it on the head. You're getting
Thank
to
you.
really the big picture what we're talking about. Sweet Pea over here, I don't know what your name was. She's got a restaurant. You three literally team up, and one night you're gonna play music. She's gonna offer free soup, and you're gonna come over and you're gonna give free 10-minute massages to the customers who ordered the free soup. And you're all gonna bring your own followers and your own clientele, and you're gonna have these people come, and they're gonna bring their friends, and you're all gonna have your QR code, and you're all gonna get lead generation. Like, this is networking. Like, this is what this is. And you're creating, like, who thinks that they're gonna go to a restaurant and listen to free music and get a massage? Like, that's kind of cool, right? So.
And not only that, but, you know, like the restaurant gal makes a poster. She shares it with you. She shares it with you. So, I mean, she's tripling her followers just by including you guys. So the more people you can get involved with whatever project you're going with, you know, it's going to do nothing but benefit the community.
And include it outside your niche.
Right.
Which I think people get stuck in their niche of, you know, you're a musician, so I'm only going to my niche, and my followers, my audience is musicians. You, to grow and to scale, you have to get outside it, and this is a great way to do that.
Now y'all just come and do it here in the room, which you don't even have to do it at the restaurant. We'll do a catered event here. Looking forward, where do you see marketing going? Where do you see brand building in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years?
Okay, I'm curious to hear what you have to say, because I have a thought on this. I think that we are oversaturated and we're numb to digital marketing at this point. It's not that it's not effective. I just don't think it is as effective as it was. And I think that we're going to start seeing nostalgia marketing and old marketing tactics come back. And I saw this for the first time, and I was like, yes. Years ago, before you guys were probably born, for those of you that are in college, I know you will remember this, you'll remember this. The Sears Christmas catalog. It was like this.
Holy Grail.
It was the Holy Grail. So if you don't know what it is, Sears was like a department store back in the day. It was one of the original department stores. And every Christmas, they would send out it was like this thick. It was a phone book. And it was all of the toys.
Wait, what's a phone book?
Right. It was thick. And you as a kid, like that was the start of Christmas. And you would go through it and you would circle your Christmas wish list. And that's what you would give to grandma and everybody, and you got so excited about it. Amazon sent me last month an Amazon Christmas catalog. Did anybody get this in the mail? I do not have children. I'm obviously not looking to buy toys. And I flipped through every page. And they were genius. They had in there, you could ask Alexa, because it's Amazon, hey, Alexa, I'm on the Christmas catalog at page 1. And they had created a story for the kids that went along with this. So now it's creating an additional engagement. Now Alexa's hearing what it is that you're doing and reading, and now can, of course, they're all listening to us. But it was so genius. And I thought to myself, if Amazon was smart, they would do this for people our age. If you sent me a Christmas catalog of all the home appliances and red face light masks, I would just be obsessed. And so that is a nostalgic marketing tool. And so I think, especially with Amazon doing it, I think we're going to see way more of that start to filtrate back in. I'm curious to hear what you have to think.
No, I agree with that. I think it's going towards, creating those memories, tapping into your emotions, creating the customer experience. People want to, they want to document everything and take photos and videos and everything, but they also want to look back and be like, gosh, that was so much fun. I can't wait to do that again next year. So I think it's really painting the picture of what they can expect, going to the event, going to the restaurant, going to the massage or the coffee shop. What does that look like? How am I going to spend my day there, my afternoon there? And getting them excited, whether that be, fuzzy slippers or anything else that brings them comfort and joy. Gosh, now I sound like a holiday commercial. But, really just painting that picture, painting that experience, and tapping into the emotions, I think is just the utmost importance these days.
So I have a theory, because we're talking about the nostalgia and what that creates. I think, talking about that, I have a theory that I think we're about to see. I could be so wrong, but I feel it brewing. Cereal box marketing. Do you remember how big and how many opportunities that cereal companies would use with their cereal boxes? There was on the top of the cereal boxes, creating a pop top, and you could collect them. There was toys in the cereal box. There was, you had an athlete on and they still do it kind of, but an athlete on the front of the cereal box, and it was, all of it. I mean, that's 3 touch points of marketing right there, just in a freaking cereal box. And they don't really do that anymore. And I think I have this feeling that something like cereal boxes, that nostalgia for, because now we have kids just like Amazon in the Christmas catalog. I think that we're going to start to see something like that. And that's what I mean when I say nostalgia. I think we're going to really start to see that come out.
I hope so. I hope you're right. And to that point, I think we'll kind of wrap with this question. While computers are helpful and while online marketing is here to stay, how do we get people back to face-to-face selling of their product, their business themselves? How important is it to be confident enough to stand up, grab a microphone, talk in a room of 70 people? How do we focus energy back to not asking ChatGPT, not typing it, but actually answering questions and talking?
I think, we are a retail center. Tanger is, 43 plus locations throughout the United States and Canada. And, our biggest competitor is online shopping. But we have to tap into come feel the product, come try it on, come have the experience. We work a lot with our tenants and retailers on, greeting every customer that comes through the door, make them feel welcome, make them know we want them there. So I think it's just getting back to having that experience in retail stores that they want to make sure it fits. Try it on. Make sure the pants are long enough, the sleeves are long enough, because returning things are a huge pain. So, really leaning into the experience, but making it as enjoyable as possible. And also, our center is adding seasonal events. We have food trucks, on the perimeters every weekend, so adding those extra components to make it fun, enjoyable for the entire family.
So I will admit that only 10% of my business is through digital marketing. It's all, the rest is face-to-face. 50% is through community outreach, and 40% is through retention and returning customers. And that is, we have a different marketing policy. We do, obviously, like I said, 10% is through digital and online, but we go out into communities. So we'll go to the Renaissance here in Glendale, we'll go to the DoubleTree in Scottsdale, go to the Hilton in Chandler, and we do in-person information sessions, and you can come and you can audition to be a part of the pageant. You go out an interview, fill out an application. It's not like a modeling audition, it's more of a face-to-face, who are you, why do you want to be here, kind of making sure this is a right fit type of thing. But it's face-to-face. 15,000 people, do the pageant. Double that, that's how many show up to this open call. 30,000 people are wanting to come show up to something they don't know about to find out about a product. Just to come in, or not a product, but about a business. So I think we assume that people want, and that the quick answer is online, but I can tell you firsthand that people want to do face-to-face, and you think that you can reach more people on social media. I can reach far more people and have a bigger impact. When I go to Glendale, I have 500 people that come, and I do that session 3 times a day. So I have 1,500 people that come and sit on my information session and audition to be a part of it in one day. And my cost is just invitations and rental space. Versus if you had to reach that, and if you could get 1,500 people to actually respond to an ad, you would be spending an astronomical more amount of money to do that. So people want to do face-to-face.
Okay, we have one more question, and then don't leave, everyone. We got a couple raffle prizes to give away.
So I have a question. I have basically like an online store. Well, not store, like a shop. So I don't have that much interaction with customers besides like when I deliver the product or when they picked up. How can you create an experience for the customers if you don't have that much contact with them, like face-to-face?
I think you reach out to your neighborhood, you reach out to your community, you see what vendors are doing, and you set up just like a little pop-up shop. Bring a few of your products, whether it be they can try it on their skin. I don't know what kind of products you sell, but if they give them some component where they can try it, whether it be try it on their skin, try it on their hand. But I think, reaching out to your existing network and seeing what they have going on, and, building your business with other businesses.
We kind of talked about it, but utilizing your own network, giving free things away. You obviously, whenever you're making a sale, you're getting some type, you're generating leads, right? You have their information. So invest in email marketing, invest in cross-promoting and brand, cross-branding. So on your social media, do a cross-promotion, because probably your own, your customers are your followers, and find a different brand and do a giveaway and get, you gotta how you get more followers, and you like the post or whatever. And then it's creating engagement, it's creating a sense of buzz, and you're using your email list. You're not just using social media, you're using your email list to also market with that brand. Hey, we have this special going on, go to my social media page. So you're using all the time, all your marketing channels, and then eventually that grows and grows and grows. So use your own community first.
Download Jasmina's song, you get 10% off whatever you're selling. There you go. Third-party sites like Groupon and so forth, are they good for business? Are they? I got asked this as I was walking past. So do y'all think using that to market, because then they market it versus doing it yourself, is that good or bad or recommended?
I think it's a personal choice. I think if you're starting your business, you're young, you don't have any customers, it's a great way to put yourself out there and to just get the wheels moving. I think that, be strategic. Don't give away the farm, but, it'll give people an opportunity to see you, find out about your product, and it'll get you advertisement on a third-party page.
I mean, I'd say try it. I think you should be trying everything right now when you're first starting out. Like, don't say no to anything. I think you should be on every marketing, if there's a place, be there, be seen, be present. Never turn down an opportunity. Another place that isn't Groupon is, I don't know, you guys know about Nextdoor? It's your community, it's your neighborhood, and it's a lot of old ladies complaining about the neighbors' cats and dogs and, weird guy came to my door. But there was a lot of advertisement, and you can pay for advertisement, but you can also go on there if you're in the community and be like, hey guys, I opened up, a bakery down the street, and you can let people know just within your own community, and it's free. The advertising cost, it's not expensive, but you can do it for free. So even Nextdoor is a great one.
Okay, well, thank you both so much for coming today. Ton of information. And for everybody that is still here, we've got two $25 gift cards to Hash Kitchen that you guys can win. So I'm going to let each of you pick one. Let you all be the deciders. And see if your people are still here. If you want to read off your numbers, probably just the last three.
407936.
We got one winner.
Right. 407938.
All right, we got two winners.
Congratulations.
So come see me afterwards. Before I let everybody go, are there any last words of wisdom you want to share? I mean, you guys gave 90 minutes of, but if there's anything you've held back just for the very last second, this is your chance. No pressure.
I feel like I imparted all my wisdom.
I just think be your most authentic self. Don't try to mold yourself into something that you think the world wants you to be. We like things that are weird and different and cool and neat and out there. That is what's going to set you apart. So I know it's really cheesy, but you just be yourself and you'll do great things, I promise.
I think that's a perfect thing to end on because that undertows everything that you guys spoke about today, and that being your authentic self allows you to truly succeed with whatever you're doing. So thank you, Summer, thank you, Breanne, and thank you to everybody who came and participated.
And if you want a free scholarship to NAM, just take a selfie of yourself with this behind you. DM me. It's IM_, and my name is Breanne. And just DM me on Instagram, and I'll pop that scholarship right on over and come and do a pageant and get that competitive edge. You can come. If you're a guy, let your girlfriends know.
You can take a picture.